Hey guys, I have a Discord server, and today's video is going to be a video that you guys have been requesting for a very long time. And basically, if you're looking for a CSGO knife, here you go. Hey, what's up guys, it's Turbo here and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing the ultimate CSGO knife guide for every single budget. So we have cheap knives, we have more expensive ones, we have mid-tier ones, and overall I just want to go over just my personal list for some of the best skins in the game. I'm actually using market prices here, but you can actually get the skins for significantly cheaper on Skinport. And if you guys do want to support the channel, I do have a Skinport affiliate link in the description down below. If you do buy or sell anything using that link, it directly supports the channel and I greatly appreciate it. So anyways, I guess without further ado guys, let's hop right into it. So the first skin on this list is the Gut Knife Freehand Field Tested, and this is a so I'm not going to say it's the best knife in the game, but I think it's definitely really cool because it's mainly just a purple gut knife with, some pretty cool accents on it. There's some pretty cool designs, and I know it's also pattern based too, so depending on which one you get, it can look completely different than another one. So basically, if you're looking for one of these, look for a pattern that you really like and then just pick it up. And also, these go really well with any sort of purple gloves. So if you have a purple pair of gloves, these are a great pickup. Next up, we have the Navaja Damascus Steel, and this one's actually factory new. This is actually one of the cheapest factory new knives you can get in the game, and in my opinion, this one actually looks really cool because it's basically just kind of it's Damascus steel, of course. It's like a type of steel that has a really cool kind of squiggly design to it. Kind of hard to explain, but yes, the Damascus steel, and overall, it's not too bad, especially for the price. So, yep, if you have a low budget, here you go. And now getting into skins between $100 and $150. First of all, we have the Flip Knife Black Laminate. And essentially this is kind of a cool little flip knife basically with a black, it has like a black blade to it. And then it has kind of like a, I don't know, it's like brownish and then white brown. I don't even know what those colors are, but the handle is a little ugly in my opinion, but I feel like the blade definitely makes up for it and it makes it look overall pretty clean. No matter what kind of gloves you have with these, they're going to look overall pretty decent. And, for the price, you can't really beat it. Oh, but speaking of beating it, next up we have the Shadow Dagger Vanillas, and these are just very cheap. So if you're in the market of Shadow Daggers, I would highly recommend the default ones because they honestly don't look that bad. They're just pure black, and they're actually overall pretty dope. They're obviously really cheap. Now, the only problem with the Shadow Daggers obviously is the weird glitch where it kind of messes up, it shakes your screen a little bit. And then if you have any sort of crosshair, it kind of makes your crosshair, I don't know, it's kind of a weird bug and they need to fix it. But I mean, for $118, these are fairly affordable. And now in the $100, $150 to $200 price range, first of all, we have the Stiletto Ultraviolet Minimal Wear. And this is a really cool skin, especially if you get a low float, because it's basically just a black and purple kind of stiletto, and just overall, it's incredibly solid. I mean, does it look cleaner in factory new? Of course, yeah, but it's also way more expensive. So the best budget one is definitely minimal wear in my opinion. Next up, we have the Bowie Damascus Steel, and this one is also relatively cheap. So kind of like the Navaja Damascus Steel, this is obviously the same kind of design. It's pretty much just literally Damascus kind of steel. And it's overall, it's pretty clean. My favorite thing about Bowie knives is the fact that they're relatively cheap and they don't really break the bank, but they're still pretty large knives. It's kind of like an M9 bayonet, but a little bit bigger, and it's also significantly cheaper too. So it's really not a bad knife. I don't know, Bowie knives are severely underrated for budget kind of inventories. So, yep, we put it on the list. Now we have the Huntsman Tiger Tooth, and this is overall a very solid knife. Basically, it's a relatively cheap tiger tooth, and it's a Huntsman knife. So when you actually pull it out, the animation is really dope. Essentially, you kind of pull it out like a gut knife, and then it's also significantly larger than the gut knife. So, you kind of get more skin for your money, essentially. Obviously, this is in the $200 to $300 range, and, I feel like this is probably the best budget tiger tooth in the game. So, yep, XD. Next up, we have the Flip Knife Lore Field Tested, and this is a super dope skin. And if you I guess if you have a budget between $200 to $300 and you're not a big fan of the Huntsman Tiger Tooth, this is definitely a huge step up because, well, number one, it's a lore, and number two, it's a flip knife. So it's an overall really dope combination. And my favorite part about this skin in particular is the fact that it has kind of a greenish handle versus the typical, I guess, grayish handle. So it's a little more unique. And also it's yellow and green go super well together, and it's pretty solid. Next up, in the $300 to $400 range, we have the Paracord Knife Blue Steel, and this is actually one of the newer knives in the game. I wanted to throw it in here in the form of a blue steel because, in my opinion, I think the blue steel is a pretty cool skin. Now, obviously, it's not as nice as a sapphire or a blue gem or whatever, but it's kind of It's like a much cheaper version of a blue gem. And sometimes you can get a little bit of purple too, which can definitely mix things up a little bit. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool knife. Next up, we had to throw this in there. Next up, we have the classic vanilla knife, basically. If you ever played CS 1.6, this was the skin that you used when you pulled out the knife. Overall, it's still a classic. And I'm actually really happy that they added this to CSGO because I feel like, well, obviously they released it in the CS 20 case and they wanted to, you know, kind of commemorate the 20-year anniversary of Counter-Strike, basically. So they finally decided to throw it in the game, and I feel like it was a really good decision. So classic knife vanilla, would recommend. If you like it, pick it up. If not, pick up another skin. These videos just inspire you. All right, now we're moving on to the $400 to $500 range. So of course, for the cheaper one, actually this is more expensive, but for the first skin, we have the Nomad Fade Factory New. And essentially the Nomad knife is one of the new knives in the game, and it's basically kind of like a modified flip knife, basically. And this one in particular has a fade pattern on it, and I feel like, I don't know, if you're gonna go with the Nomad knife, the fade is one of the best looking ones in my opinion. That's pretty much it. For like $500, it's a pretty cool skin, not gonna lie. And obviously, you want to try to go for a full fade too, because that looks even better. Now we have the M9 Autotronic. So if you're not a huge fan of, you know, the newer knives in the game and you want to get something a little bit more stable in price, the M9 bayonet is definitely a solid choice for you. Basically, it's a red and kind of like silverish kind of knife. I guess that's kind of how you describe it. And it's just overall incredibly dope. And the cool thing about Autotronics is even if you get them in field tested, they still don't they don't get scratched up at all. So they basically just, it's kind of like a darkness based skin. If you get one that's more battle scarred, it looks darker. If you get one that's factory new, it's brighter. But ultimately, field tested gets the job done. Now we're in the $600 to $1,000 ratio, and for the first skin we have the Bayonet Lore Minimal Wear. So of course you could always go with factory new, but it's significantly more expensive. Minimal Wear is good enough as long as you get a pretty good float. And the Bayonet Lore is an absolute banger of a skin. It has a cool pull-out animation, and it's just overall a pretty dope skin, not gonna lie. I guess the upside to this versus the M9 is, the problem with the M9 bayonet is the fact that the spine can get really scratched up, and bayonets just overall look way cleaner in my opinion. So, and it's also cheaper too. Now we have a classic knife. This is the Karambit Fade Factory New. I feel like when you say CSGO, this is one of the first like high tier knives to come to mind, the Karambit Fade, because like there's a lot of knives in the game obviously, but I feel like the Karambit Fade was one of the first skins that kind of like got people like excited to like, you know, collect skins because it's basically a pink karambit. Like that's pretty awesome, not gonna lie. That's pretty damn cool. Yeah, what more can I say other than the fact that it's a pretty cool skin. This next one is for the $1,000 to $2,000 budget. We have the Butterfly Knife Fade Factory New. And of course you want to try to pick up one that has a relatively high float, but I mean ultimately it doesn't matter because these always look awesome. Basically it's a butterfly knife fade, like what more can I say? So it's purple, pink, and yellow. 3 awesome colors just all working together hand in hand to make an absolutely sick skin. And of course, since it's a butterfly knife, it has a lot of cool animations too, so you can like pull it out. You can just spam F and R, flex on the haters, and just overall have a really good time doing it. So, yep, I would rate it a 10 out of 10. For the last skin that's under $2,500 basically, or under $2,000, we have the Karambit Lore Factory New. So this one in particular, this one's actually field tested, and this is the one we are giving away on Gleam on Twitter. So if you guys haven't already entered, check that out. But basically just imagine this, but way cleaner. That's pretty much a factory new Karambit Lore. There's pretty much like no scratches, and the corner might be a little scuffed up, but you know, they look pretty clean for factory new. I mean, basically it's a Dragon Lore knife. What more can I say? And now guys, we're in the $2,500 plus range. So these are just the super high tier skins. These are the skins that most people will never be able to own, but like, you know what? It's all good. Because first off, we have the Karambit Sapphire, and these have gone up so much in price over the last, like, I guess year or two. And basically it's a blue Karambit. And if you have any sort of blue gloves, like Cobalt Skulls, for example, or like superconductors, they look super dope. Honestly, like it's not a bad combination. So yep, basically a blue Karambit. But if you prefer the ruby's cheaper, and the black pearl is significantly cheaper, but it's also more rare, so it's kind of a weird dynamic. And this is, I just kind of threw this in there just for fun, but basically if you want to get like the most insane CSGO knife in existence, you can get a Karambit Blue Gem number 387, the #1 pattern, for like $20,000. So yeah, kind of outside every single person's price range unless you're like a Chinese millionaire, but I just wanted to throw it on the list because it is like the best knives for every budget. So if your budget is over $20,000, then you might be able to pick up one of these bad boys. And we're going to end it off on the M9 Bayonet Crimson Web Factory New. I just wanted to throw this on here because I feel like this is a super iconic knife, and it's actually the most expensive non-pattern based knife in the game, which is pretty crazy. So, yep, just the the M9 Bayo factory new. This one's StatTrak, so just imagine that it's not StatTrak. I just couldn't find a non-StatTrak one. But anyways, yeah, basically it's a really sick Spider-Man knife. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know which knives were your favorite that we checked out today. And also, if you have any other suggestions for really cool knives to spice up people's inventories, leave that in the comments down below, and feel free to read the other comments too. And also, if you agree with like what people are saying, just upvote their comments and stuff, and I'll be sure to give a few of you guys hearts who basically, you know, leave some dope suggestions. And just overall, guys, join the Discord if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitch. Overall, just check out all the links in the description down below, because all of them are pretty important. And just overall, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, click the bell icon, join the notification squad today. And overall, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's Turbo, and I'm out. Peace.